Ladies and gentlemen, on the line today, I've got former Australian Olympic basketball player Joe Hill on the line. Joe, how are you going today?
Very well, thank you, and thank you for having me on today.
Not a problem, Joe. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on Licorice All Sports, and it's not every day you get an Olympian on the show. Actually, you're the first Olympian that we've had here today, so there's a first for everything, and you're the first Olympian.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Now, Joe, take us back. It was only 2 years ago that you retired from the North Adelaide Rockets. You retired at the age of 45, and it just shows your longevity within professional basketball. So just tell us in more recent times what the end of your career was like playing for the Adelaide Rockets, and also in more recent times coaching, which you're currently doing at the moment.
Well, I suppose, I retired in 2014, but I knew I still had some 2016, had some unfinished business. I had a testimonial year in 2014, and so 2016 I thought, maybe it's time to hang up the boots, knowing that I did have some unfinished business, and I knew I could still give to the team. I think maybe I was just getting a little bit frustrated with the umpires and stuff, and I was letting that sort of bother me a bit. So I sort of had the off season off, and I was playing football at the time. So if I decided to come back, I knew that I was going to be fit anyway. So when I decided to continue on, and then played 2017, 2018, and going through, I guess, a highlight. I guess you always have highlights in your career, and one that stands out. There's quite a few, but 2018 was a year to remember. We went through the season 20-zip, so that doesn't happen very often. So it was good to do that, and then obviously winning the grand final, and then being the grand final MVP, which a fairy tale ending. I couldn't have asked to end any better than that. I know I could still play and most probably still give a little bit to the team now, but obviously, as I said, a fairy tale ending. I could never write a script for it to end like that.
She's going to run it up court, gives it to Joy Hill, the 45-year-old. Get around her. Give her the fist pump. She pumps her fist. This will be her 7th Premier League title.
At 27, what is she? 10 of 18. 7 or 9 from the line, 11 rebounds. She has played her tail off today, and there you go. There's another one.
North Adelaide on their feet. There's only 16 seconds left. I don't think she'll get to 30. Unless this misses that she goes to the board. But imagine finishing off your career with the league MVP. 2018 Premier League champions. How about that? Everyone gets around Joy Hill, the 45-year-old legend of South Australian basketball.
Yeah, look, she's getting lifted up. It's a great thing to see. Like we talked about at the start.
Yeah, definitely. It's an amazing longevity of a career. You played over 300 games for the North Adelaide Rockets, and in more recent times, you've had the Hillcrest Court 1 named the Joe Hill Court. So I guess playing more than 300 games for Adelaide Rockets, and then having that court named after you after, I guess, such a prestigious career, what does that actually mean to you now that it's a couple of years since you've actually retired?
Yeah, it means a lot. I never thought, when I started playing that my career would take me this far. I was a state high jumper, and I didn't start playing basketball until I was, under 16, so I was 15. So it's quite late. Maybe that's why I was able to play on as long as I have, and lucky enough to not have too many injuries over my career. But yeah, when I had no idea when it was unveiled, when they were going to do it, they had a big sticker over it, and I'm one for noticing little things, and there was a new sticker on the court to cover the signature. I had no idea, and so it was something that was very special. But they've since closed Hillcrest, and we've got a new 5-court stadium at Lightsview. It's called the Lights, and they actually named Court 2, which is a show court, not Court 1. Court 2 is a show court, and they've actually named it after me, which is, I never thought I would go to the new stadium, because it's a bit more of a community-based court, because there's 5 courts there. It's not like basketball, just basketball. So I never thought that, I was just relishing in the time that I had it at Hillcrest. But to have it at the Lights, it's pretty special. And I know I had a teacher from school come to me and say, I didn't know you had your name on the lights, because he went there for some netball, and it was like, yeah, and he goes, oh, that, you know, that's really cool. And it is. I'm just very lucky to, you know, because there's a lot of people around that, you know, have played for a long time and don't have things like that. So I'm pretty lucky, and it's pretty special. Something that, you know, I hold close to my heart as another highlight of my career.
Now, Joe, you had many influential coaches throughout your career. Just going to name a few coaches. Jane Sterling, Phil Brown, Tom Maher, and Dean Kingsley were a few of your coaches over your career. I guess, you know, like coaches, every coach has got a different style. So out of some of those names I just mentioned, I guess who was your most influential coach, and who are some of the other coaches that really directed you, especially in the early part of your career, to where you got to and then eventually finished up?
Well, Lee Prettyjohn was my very first coach who actually got me out. Another girl that I played against, she, from sports day, like a school sports day, I was competing against her, and obviously she saw I was tall and then asked, you know, would I go and play? And I just thought it was social and just another sport to get into, because I was doing a lot of sports. I was very sporty, not academic. And so I went out to the trainings and I had no idea about anything about basketball. I didn't even know who. So this was like late 80s. And I didn't even know who Michael Jordan was. I didn't know what a rebound was. I didn't know what an offense was. So I'm running around, because I played netball. I was running around, you know, all arms and legs, and couldn't dribble the ball. Sorry.
Yep.
The cats come to on the video. Couldn't dribble the ball and stuff, and yeah, so I trained with them for a bit and played some games, and then I did my ankle and I was out for about 12 weeks, and I was supposed to go away for the Pan Pac Games for athletics, and I couldn't go. After that, I absolutely hated the game, and I was crying, and the coach called me and he said, you know, why aren't you training? I said, I don't want to play anymore. And he said, can you come down? I'll have a chat to you, and the rest is history. So Lee Prettyjohn was my first coach, and I guess I'd say he was one of my most influential coaches. All the others have played a big part in my career, in the fact that, you know, every coach is different. So I don't have one particular favourite, because I had a lot of coaches and they all taught me something different. And as I say, over the time I've had quite a few coaches. So yeah, they've all taught me something different. So I don't actually have a favourite as such, but yeah.
Joe, you won the Halls medal in 1994, and you unfortunately missed out on the Atlanta Olympics, which at the time they could only select 12 women's players to take across to the USA at that stage, and you were one of the unlucky 3 to miss out. So I guess in that that timeline from 94 to 96, win the Halls medal, such a high, and then the, I suppose, disappointment of missing the Olympics in 1996, which was the Atlanta Olympics.
Yeah, so 94 is, you know, it's a South Australian thing, so it's the best player in South Australia for the local competition. And, you know, obviously you aspire to, you know, be the best, but it's a team sport, so it's not just about, you know, if it wasn't for my teammates, you know, I wouldn't have won that award. It's not just my award, it's the whole team's award. And I think 94 was when I first started training with the Opals. And obviously, you know, being still fairly new to basketball, still a bit raw, and never thought, like, I played in the 93 World Championships with the Australian junior team, and we were able to win a gold medal, which no one else in men or women, junior or senior, had won a medal at any major competition. So that was the first thing. So, and then sort of led on from there. And yeah, so I think with all sport or anything, there's always highs and lows. And my low was the 96 Olympics. So, you know, started off 30 people, 30 players in the squad. Then I went down to 25, then 22, then 15. So 15 was the last that they had. And, you know, obviously it's nerve-wracking in knowing that you have to perform. And as I said, for me, it was new at this type of thing. And yeah, to miss out, it was, gut-wrenching. Like, the hardest thing, I think, was because we were still playing the WNBL season, they had a break. They went to the Olympics and come back, and then we had to continue on the season. I think that was the hardest part, because knowing that 3 of my teammates have gone over for that, and I'd missed out. I was one of the unlucky ones to miss out. Like I said, there was 12 players they chose, and 3 missed out, and I was one of them. But the emotions, I don't think I ever thought I could cry as much as I did. The biggest thing for me, I felt like I let my family down because, you know, I'm the youngest of 5. My mum and dad used to drive me to training like an hour out from Adelaide, from where we lived, train for 2 hours and then an hour back. And they used to do it, 2 or 3 nights a week on top of other trains that was for North Adelaide. And then I felt like I'd failed them, I guess, to a certain degree because they'd done all this, taking me here, there and everywhere for me to better myself and stuff, and then to miss out. Like I said, I took 2 weeks to tell my family that I'd missed out. And I think I was doing up my shoelace and, saying, I missed out. I sort of tried to pass it off, and that's how I dealt with it. But I was lucky I had Marina. She was Marina Moffat, Marina Wood now, and she sort of, when I first started playing, she took me under her wing, and she was a godsend. She'd been to 2 Olympics previously, 84 and 88. So I had her as a bit of a mentor and helping me because she played in the team at the time for for the Adelaide Lightning, and to get me through that time. And I mean, I wanted to quit, but I could have gone either way. I could have quit, or knowing that it would be bad around in another 4 years. Well, every 4 years we have World Championships, and every 4 years we have the Olympics, but it works out to be 2 years, every 2 years. So it was either I quit or I work hard for the next World Championships, which was in '98, and I was lucky enough to make that team.
Yeah, it's a bit gut-wrenching. I've actually got a bit of a tear behind now. There's no worse feeling, no matter what level of sport you play, to just miss out on selection. And I can't even imagine what you would have gone through at the time. It would have been a really challenging time. But resilience is a key in sport. Now, Joe, you're a 5-time WNBL champion. You've won state league titles somewhere between 4 and 7. You've won a grand final MVP, 13 club MVPs. We're going to get to this a little bit later in the interview. Olympic silver medalist and world junior champion gold medalist. So those are just rolling off, plus a Halls medal, by the way. Those are just rolling off a whole bunch of those accolades that you achieved throughout your career. Is there any one that really sticks out of all of those, accolades that I just mentioned?
I suppose the Olympics, because that's the ultimate,
Yep.
To represent your country. And I guess I was at the Olympics, being in your home country, and to have family there. Obviously, I didn't have all my family, only some of them came, but to have them there and, knowing that you've worked hard, and like I said, I could have gone either way of, giving up, but I think, the setbacks you have make you a stronger person, and I think that's what it made me a stronger person, to want to make me a little bit more hungrier and to work harder to make the team, and knowing that my family could come and watch and actually, because sometimes in a lifetime, you'll never get to an Olympics or to even go to it, but to have my family there, to make them proud of what I've achieved and the sacrifices that I've made over time and the sacrifices that they've made for me. I'd say, and then winning a silver medal is a highlight. It's very memorable. And then as I say, the 20 years it's, just gone by, to think that it's 20 years and it's like, where's that time gone? It's, half my life gone. That was half a lifetime ago. And, it just feels like yesterday, and you get the goosebumps and stuff. So, yeah, it's just an amazing feeling. It's something that you can't describe.
Yeah, just on the Sydney 2000 Olympics, in that particular year, as you said, Australia finished second. They lost the gold medal match against the USA. But you certainly made headlines at the time with a famous handstand, knowing that you definitely couldn't miss out on a medal. And I suppose when you go to the Olympics, the main reason you want to place, it's first, second or third. There's no prizes for fourth. And that was against Poland. So take us back to that very moment. And I guess, what were you thinking at the time? I guess it was a triumphant one for yourself personally, but also being a home Olympics, which was Sydney 2000.
Yeah, I don't know what went through my mind. I just thought, when the siren went originally I was going to do a backflip, and I'm like, oh, we've got another game that's really important. So if I land on my head, that's not going to go down too well. So I thought maybe a handstand's a little bit safer. And yeah, it was just a spur of the moment, thinking, knowing that we won that game, so we're playing for gold or silver. So regardless, we're going to get gold or we're going to get silver. So I just did the handstand and walked on my hands. So yeah, it's a photo, and they had an Olympic book out not long after the Olympics, and it's in there. So it's like pretty memorable, pretty special. And looking through the memories that have come up, and people are posting stuff for the 2 weeks that the Olympics was on, it came up quite a few times. And when you click on the photo, you can actually buy the photo. So I don't know if I may even buy the photo and put it up on the wall, in a frame, something special.
Yeah, definitely. And take us back to that time, I guess. USA, the creme de la creme of basketball, both in the men's and the women's game. I suppose through all the nations that would have participated in that 2000 Olympics, they would have been the benchmark. And I guess behind the scenes, I'd imagine coaches would say, we're going to have to try and beat these guys to, ultimately win the gold medal. What looking back now, even though you did only get silver, which is an amazing achievement, how far away do you think you were from potentially causing an upset against the USA women's basketball side, or were they just in a different realm altogether?
We've always competed well against them. They're always a stronger powerhouse, bigger bodies, bigger frames in the post area. So, they punch it inside, easy 2 points. So they're always, stronger than what we were. But, on any given day, anyone can win. Someone could be sick, someone could have an injury or whatever. And we played them quite a few times. They came out here to Australia. We went over there and played against them. I think we went to China and played in a tournament against them. So we did play them quite a few times leading up to the Olympics. They just had that thing over us that, not that we ever thought that we would, we'd always give it a good crack. But like I said, when it comes down to the crunch, they were the stronger team and stuff. So, to be second best team in the world, I don't think you can ask for more than that.
Now, basketball's taking you all around the world, not just here in Australia, and I find it very intriguing when I interview former athletes and current athletes about the lifestyle of, living abroad and playing professional sports. So, out of all the teams that you played for over in Europe, I guess, what was your favourite destination, and what was it like living the lifestyle of the rich and the famous, tongue-in-cheek there a little bit, but as a professional athlete?
Yeah, well, that's what people say. Oh, you're lucky, travel the world. It is luck, but it's also a lot of hard work and stuff that goes into it. Obviously, but as I said before, sacrifices that you have to make. Families having Christmas lunch, or there's an engagement party or a birthday party or a birth or whatever, and you have to miss it because you've got to train. But playing overseas is is another highlight for me. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to think, did I really do that, and have I done that? I do miss it now. I wish some days that I was still over there living the lifestyle, playing, not training every day, twice a day. I don't know, I wouldn't be able to do that now, but just the living, the meeting people, playing and stuff. Obviously, I lived in France and Spain, so 2 different countries, 2 different lifestyles. I liked them both. You met lots of nice people. But yeah, as I say, it was a lot of hard work. But yeah, it's one thing I wish I was still doing now, but I wish I was still younger.
Completely understand. And what teams did you play for, both in Spain and in France? I understand you played for a couple of different teams. So I suppose which spots were your favourite when you were over there in Europe?
So as soon as the Olympics finished, we had our ticker tape parades here back in each state. So we did those, and then I pretty much flew out to France and played for Tarbes for 3 years. So I played in the same team for 3 years. Then I had a knee injury, so I didn't get another contract after that, and played here in Australia with Canberra for 2003-2004 season, and then got a gig in Spain, in Lyon. And then I went to Estudiantes, which is a team in Madrid. Then I went to Villa Garcia de Rosa, which is a little village just out in between Vigo and Santiago de Compostela. A real small little village That was, I mean, I liked every place that I went. People were friendly, the girls were good, you know, learning different things from the coaches, the lifestyle. Obviously learning a language, I didn't learn language at school. So I really struggled a little bit that way, but in saying that, a lot of the girls spoke English anyway. But Villa Garcia, the last place I played at, was, I guess, just a little village, so it was only small, little community. The supporters were like family stuff, so I really liked that as well. Yeah, but I really enjoyed all the places that I played at.
Fantastic. And Joe, just before we conclude the interview, just tell the listeners a little bit more about, I guess, coaching in the current day, and where can you see yourself, if you've got a particular goal in mind, do you want to sort of rise the ranks and perhaps coach at a really high level sometime?
Well, at the moment I just do coaching, doing individual / small group work. So I have either 1 kid or 5 kids, just going back to basics and doing skill stuff and teaching things, I guess, that I got taught, but maybe not specifically. So I want to sort of give back to them what I learned over time. And it's not just about the basketball, it's about, you know, you might be having a bad day and what's caused that, and grumpy, and try and help them through that as well. So it's not just on the court, it's off the court as well, and try and helping them in that way. I also an assistant coach to the Premier League that I used to play for. I enjoy, I'm not sure, at this time, I'm not sure if I really want to be a coach of a team, because there's too many responsibilities, you know, you've got people. So I think I'm more suited to an assistant coach role, in a sense where I see something and I can go and go, okay, this time you should have done this, or you should have finished off like this, or next time you could have done this. I can give the feedback to them and not have the responsibility of, you know, sort of running the team, I guess. I'd prefer to help in that capacity than to be the main coach. So, I mean, I've been assistant coach to the Lightning for 1 season. But obviously with this individual coaching, it takes up quite a bit of time, because I finish work and then go and do 2 hours every night and about 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday. So it does take up my time. And I'm happy to give back to the kids and maybe what I didn't get, so to speak, and obviously pass on my knowledge that, you know, that I learnt through the ranks and pass that back on to the younger kids.
Well, Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure having a chat to you today, and you seem very passionate about your family, about basketball, and I guess about giving back to the community. So to have someone of your ilk and calibre coming on Licorice Shore Sports, and that's an absolute pleasure, and I can't thank you enough for joining me today.
No problem.
And Joe Hill there, Sydney 2000 silver medalist with the women's Australian basketball side. And Joe, just before you go, it's the AFL Grand Final this week, and the Richmond Tigers are playing the Geelong Cats. I know you follow the footy just a little bit, so have you got a tip? Who's going to win, and I guess a margin?
Well, I was hoping Port Power would go through, because that's my team, but obviously that didn't work. I think Geelong, and I hope Geelong for Gary Ablett's sake, because I think this will be his last season. Obviously, that's my take on it, and with obviously Son's being sick. I hope Geelong win, and I reckon they might win by 17 points.
Well, very bold. And Gary Ablett, yes, he's been a master over the last 19 years of his career. So there you go. Joe Hill, 17 points to the Cats. Interesting tip. And I'm a mighty Tigers, so I'm going to have to disagree with you. Go the Tigers. Tigers by 58. But Joe Hill, once again, thanks so much for joining Licorice Shore Sports, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please make sure to give it a like. And if you want to check out some of my other videos, please make sure you click the subscribe button and give Winston Sports Media a subscribe and follow. Thank you so much.